Yet again. Good evening and thank you for joining us at 6. I'm Bob Clausen.
And I'm Ashley Ketz. That's right. Today, the Department of Human Services says the amount of people who have applied for Arkansas's private option is approaching 200,000. And for the second day in a row, the House avoiding a tough vote on health care expansion. KARK4's David Goins joins us live at the state capitol, where the stalemate, though, could break soon. David?
It's possible, Ashley. House Speaker David Carter late this afternoon meeting with members of some of the 27 House members that simply cannot support the private option as it is and trying to find a way forward.
So we're going to go ahead and pass over House Bill 1150 and Senate Bill 111.
Those two bills are the private option, and for a second day, the House bypassing a fifth vote on health care spending. House Speaker David Carter says don't mistake no vote for no progress.
I think there is a possibility that we could do something this week.
27 members signed a letter on Monday asking for a meeting. Carter says that's happening now, trying to convince a few more to support health care expansion.
It's not like the vast majority of members don't support the bill, because they do. I mean, 100 of 135 have expressed, support.
I'd hate to consider a session ending without a budget. I mean, why would you have a fiscal session, budget session, and not have a budget? I mean, that's Washington gridlock. Surely we haven't come to that.
There are 3 million people in this state, and we're trying to set a budget, and we can't take our eye off that ball. And we're all committed here to make that happen, and we'll get it done, and we'll work our way through this.
And that 2.5-hour meeting actually just wrapped up within the last couple minutes. I'm told from the Speaker's office, the meeting described as productive. Live at the state capitol, David Goins, KARK4 News.
David, thank you very much. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender supporters in Arkansas are throwing their support behind a Pine Bluff priest who is transgender. KARK4's Dustin Barnes joining the studio with more on this after speaking with a local organization rallying behind the priest. Dustin?
That's right, Bob. Reverend Greg Fry told parishioners at the Grace Episcopal Church on Sunday that he will now live his life from now on as a woman. CAR, the Center for Artistic Revolution, urges the congregation to embrace Fry and her change.
Be loving and open and accepting.
That's the message to the members of the Grace Episcopal Church, whose priest was born a man but is now a woman.
And remember that this is the same person that they knew yesterday, last week, last month, and she's just chosen to share some new information about herself.
The Center for Artistic Revolution formed 11 years ago to help end discrimination against people in the LGBT community. Gina Miracle Huey says she applauds Fry for her actions.
Society makes it hard to arrive at the person you're supposed to be.
Huey says she hopes Fry's identification will continue the conversation as it relates to gay, lesbian, and transgender issues taking place worldwide.
It can be scary, but it's not a reason to react with fear. We need to educate ourselves.
And one place Huey believes that conversation needs to happen is in the church.
There are so many resources available to help people have a deeper understanding, and I would really encourage them to reach out and utilize those resources.
And leaders with the Arkansas Diocese will meet with members of the church to hear from them and consider their recommendation when it comes to the priest. I reached out to Reverend Fry again and left messages, but no return phone call.
All right, Dustin, thank you very much. Now to a KARK4 News update. The Dallas County Sheriff's asking for your help in trying to find a missing mom. Laura Jones has been missing since last July, leaving her 4-year-old daughter without a mother. There's her photograph. The Sheriff's Office says it's exhausted all resources in trying to find her. If you have any information, if you have heard the slightest bit of news, you're being asked to contact local authorities. If not, contact the Dallas County Sheriff's Office directly. They'd like to hear from you.
New information tonight as the Pine Bluff Police Department terminates and releases the name of an officer accused of rape. Pine Bluff Police say 2-year veteran Maurice Hopkins has been charged with rape. A judge set Hopkins' bond at $100,000. Pine Bluff Police say they forwarded the results of their criminal investigation to the Jefferson County prosecutor, who decided to file those charges. Hopkins was terminated for conduct unbecoming of an officer. He has 10 days to appeal his termination.
It's been nearly a month now since an Arkansas Forestry Commission pilot died in a plane crash in western Arkansas. Today, we're hearing from a pilot who was in the air that day. Bob Porto was preparing to fly a wildlife scouting mission just like the one Jake Harrell was on January 31st when his plane went down. Porto says that Harrell would have wanted Forestry Commission pilots to honor his legacy by continuing to fly.
That's an example that we can live and try to be as good as.
NTSB investigators have asked Porto not to speak publicly about the conditions in the air that day of the crash, but weather reports around the time and area where Harold's plane was found show cloud levels dipped down near the top of mountains. NTSB is still investigating the cause of the crash, but Forestry Commission officials have said weather conditions may have played a factor.
Because money matters, it is time to pay up. Deborah Buckner, the Pulaski County Treasurer, was printing off property tax bills today. Property taxes, by the way, are due beginning on March 1st, and then they become delinquent after October 15th. And you can pay online, by phone, or you can go to the Treasurer's office and pay in person. We have a link on our website to find out how much you owe. Just go to arkansasmatters.com.
And because health matters, the Department of Health reporting the number of flu deaths has risen to 52. This year's virus targeting adults between 25 and 50 years old, with several of those heading to the hospital. The flu virus is spread through coughing and sneezing. We know this, so you know that if someone with the flu sneezes on something that you wind up touching, well, then you rub your nose, your mouth, your eyes. Guess what? You've got the flu. The best way to prevent the flu, of course, is to get vaccinated every year.
Experts say education matters, especially when it comes to a better workforce in Arkansas and increasing income levels at the same time. To do that, experts believe in starting early, and that's in the classroom. Great gains have been made in K through 12 in the state, but education leaders say there's not enough funding in early education programs for kids where employers see the real difference.
If children don't have opportunity for positive interactions during those first 5 years, they could start to kindergarten 3 years behind their friends.
Tonight on KARK4 News at 10, hear what programs geared toward 3- and 4-year-olds can improve the education outlook here and also could have employers bringing jobs to Arkansas.
Coming up tonight at 6 o'clock, more on the fight to raise awareness of colon cancer, the key to its prevention. That's the focus of tonight's Health Matters Report.
And if you gazed out the window today, it might have looked like a nice enough day outside, but if you ventured out in it, you know it was cold, especially this morning. Only up to 42 this afternoon in Little Rock. We should be topping out at 58 this time of year. We're going to warm things up a little bit, but then look at the potential for wintry weather by late in the weekend and another big cool down next week. We'll detail it all in just a couple minutes.
From the station that brings you local news that matters, this is KARK 4 News at 6 in high definition. With Bob Clausen, Ashley Katz, Chief Meteorologist Keith Monahan, and Aaron Peters with your Razorback Nation report. KARK 4 News.